For us, it's probably the number one question I get when I tell people I work in veterinary medicine is, how do you put an animal down? It is very difficult, especially being a pet owner myself, because I can always put myself in that position of that owner. I find it's actually most difficult to watch the owner coping with it. But knowing that I'm helping to relieve the suffering of an animal is very comforting. Of course, yeah, it's very sad, especially when you've worked with that animal. I know that animal. That's my friend. It's always hard, but in the end, I do feel like we're doing them a kindness. Something that I'm sure we wish we could do for more of our own human family members to relieve that suffering. But yeah, my heart really breaks sometimes for people, especially, some of these elderly people or people, who don't have a lot of people in their life. That animal was their whole life, and that's sometimes the only kind of social or intimate contact they get. So yeah, I can really, really sympathize there. But euthanasia is a very small portion of what we do, so I don't have to dwell on it too much. But yeah, I always feel for the person, but for the animal, I do really feel like I'm helping them. So I always try and keep that in the back of my mind when we're doing that.
This clinic has been here, I've been here probably like 28 years or so. Second home, really. So yeah, I like working here. We like helping the animals. A lot of our clients feel pretty close to us. They all follow us on social media. We kind of, see the pets more often than we do just in the clinic, just because they all have an Instagram account, or they have a, Facebook thing, or they tweet. So we get to see them all. They tag us in the pet photos, so we get updates. That's quite nice. As far as end of life, and it can be hard, but we're lucky here because at this clinic we don't euthanize animals unless there is a valid health reason. So it's at the end of their palliative care, their terminal. So essentially we're ending their suffering, so that helps us a lot. So we're not euthanizing young healthy animals like some of the shelters have to do. So we really feel like we're providing a service to both the animal and the owners. So that helps. So it makes it easier for us because we feel like we're doing the right thing. So, you do your best not to, make it worse for the client. If we were all crying, it doesn't make it easy on them. So it's expected that, you control yourself until they're gone. So our clients are long-term, so that can make it sadder sometimes when we have to do euthanasias because we've known this animal since they were, a young dog or cat, especially since a lot of the staff have been here for quite a long time. It's really only a small part, so it's not something we think about too often. It's just something we have to do. I guess we probably have a wall built up, so we'd have to do the job right. It's sad when you've known them like most of their life, but we know it's always coming. It's not a surprise. We've seen them through their illness. We've done everything we can, and we know that. So yeah, it's part of the job. Yeah. When you're younger, I guess you don't have as much of a wall, so it's a little hard if the pet coming in, I guess, looks like one that you have or had in the past. But yeah, I guess eventually you build up a skin. But, yeah.
There are pet support systems in place. I always encourage clients, if they're having a hard time, reach out to us. I do have resources. We have literature for people. There are online resources. I think there are even like places you can call in, like you can speak to someone, almost like a grief counselor type thing. Those sort of programs are in place for pets. And yeah, I'd say it's similar with losing a person. It's always good to talk. I hope clients realize that when they lose the pet, I hope our relationship doesn't end there. I would encourage people, again, before you get a pet, consider the what you're getting yourself into. Some animals can live 20 plus years. This is a commitment. If you're not prepared to see that through, keep that animal. I mean, I understand there are always, circumstances that are unavoidable, but if that's not something you're prepared to do in that moment, maybe pet ownership is not for you. Cost as well. I hate to discriminate against anybody. Everyone has a different financial situation, but I don't think it's necessarily fair to take on a pet if you can barely, look after yourself, physically, financially. And then again, dog ownership, please do your research before you select a certain breed. I see a lot of people come in with a breed that is just not right for their lifestyle. Some breeds are very active. There are dogs that want to be ran like 2 hours a day. So, if you're not someone who's able to provide that outlet, it may be not for you, or else you're going to encounter a lot of behavioral issues with a dog that's, cooped up inside and probably going to get destructive.
I'll feed who I am.
Do your research, make sure this is the right decision for you. Pet insurance is a great investment. Even if you never use it, just knowing you have that safety net and knowing if a problem arises that, you don't have to resort to euthanasia because you don't have the means to look after something, or you don't have to give up your pet, surrender them because you don't have the means to look after what happens. I definitely pet insurance for everybody I think is a great investment. Probably one of the best things you could do for your pet. Cause of death, euthanasia, we're always euthanizing. It's hard to say. Usually a combination of certain illnesses. I honestly feel like lack of preventative health care. I think if people, took into consideration the future for their pets, more regular vet checkups, at least get that annual exam. Once they're a senior pet, I would even go every 6 months. I think people forget animals have a much shorter life than we do, so their aging is much more rapid. They say a year for us is like 7 years to a dog, right? So imagine how much you would age in 7 years. And then some dogs we don't see for 5 years at a time, so imagine how much that dog has aged in that time. They might seem okay on the outside, but a lot of the time there's subtle changes that people are just saying, oh, they're just aging, but there are things we can do to help slow that down a bit. And diet is a big thing. Feeding a dog the same food for 10 years is not really appropriate. So, their metabolism changes, any changes to their organ function, we can address that. That's, I think we can extend the life of pets a lot more if we just did more preventative medicine rather than addressing the problem once it's a problem.